Hello everybody, welcome back to our podcast Remedial program where I will summarize the conversations from our long interviews with our CEO Roberto Capodieci. So today I will summarize the conversation from our 17th podcast episode on the user-friendliness of the peer-to-peer network apps. Arguably, the most popular peer-to-peer network apps at this time is the decentralized blockchain. It is applied in the financial world, such as the decentralized exchange, where you can trade cryptocurrencies, and also it is used for trade and logistics to maintain supply chain management and then to monitor the black market operations. Some popular instant messaging platforms such as Signal and Telegram are also partially run on the peer-to-peer network. The advantages of the peer-to-peer network over decentralized systems have to do with the fact that they store data and information evenly across the network instead of relying on a single central server. Because of this, the likelihood of data and information bottlenecks, which often hamper the performance of decentralized systems, can be lessened. Further, the more democratic system offered by the peer-to-peer network also closes the wider power inequality among parties in an organization, which the powerful authorities who sit at the top of the food chain can often manipulate the system either through distortion or censorship. The best example of this is the social media giants Facebook and Twitter, for instance, who can ban accounts or sell the user's private data to fuel war and other socio-political conflicts, and the users are typically helpless about it because the central authorities, they have arbitrary power to do anything they want. Meanwhile, in the peer-to-peer network, pretty much like all the members of the network have to agree upon certain actions or certain changes so that nobody can impose changes from the top down. So we get to the question, just how friendly are the peer-to-peer network apps? Obviously, it is important to make sure that it is being adopted widely. So now when we talk about the user-friendliness of the peer-to-peer network apps, we have to take into consideration the amazing diversity in which these apps exist. They cater to different functions, from simple to complex, with different data storage capacity. For instance, the NFT marketplaces, which have been widely adopted by various digital asset enthusiasts since January 2021, are relatively easy to use. Therefore, lots of people have adopted these marketplaces. They also help users perform relatively simple procedures such as minting tokens, pitching their artworks, or buying products. Therefore, they can be operated by the everyday people, as they also cater to more grounded activities such as trading and communication. It is also the case with Skype and Telegram, which are easy to use and cater to basic functions which everybody needs. Meanwhile, the blockchain infrastructures, which cater to complex functions such as loan provision and supply chain management, not to mention the multi-party systems, are more complicated. Thus, they target more niche and sophisticated users mainly. It is similar to the diversity in which computers and laptops exist, with different functions and UI/UX complexity. Probably the best example is the difference between Apple and Android smartphones, because users who have already been used to the basic UI and UX of the Android phones might find the Apple smartphones to be harder to operate, same with Apple laptops, and then takes longer time for them to finally be familiar with the different strange setting of the Apple computers and smartphones. Okay, what about the storage capacity of the P2P network apps? Different decentralized blockchain apps have different storage capacities. The storage capacities obviously are also packed into the complexity of the functions that they can perform. There are some external devices such as the Raspberry Pi, which acts somewhat like the central processing unit or the brain of the peer-to-peer network. The device has a small capacity and thus can only be used to perform simple operations. And you need different platforms in order to store bigger amount of data and to perform complex functions. As you can imagine, the blockchain infrastructure supporting supply chain and multi-party systems will also require bigger data storage. Like Signal and Telegram, many blockchain infrastructure solutions are now working in tandem with decentralized operators in order to expand their coverage and then support each other's functions. So the blockchain infrastructure can also serve as a collateral to the Internet of Things or IoT devices. The infrastructure has been used, for instance, in Europe in order to trace the infection rates of the COVID-19 pandemic and also the vaccination status of individuals. The blockchain technology can also be used to support the work of these devices in terms of data and information storage and analysis performance, such as in the smart city systems, especially to manage the traffic flow and public transport and waste management and so on. So the barrier to blockchain adoption among organizations usually have to do with the arduous organizational change management that these organizations typically have to do whenever they adopt new tool or new instruments. Like for instance, their workers have to be retrained on how to use these new platforms, and then jobs also have to be restructured and redistributed since the blockchain technology automates most administrative tasks. This can result in job reassignment for some administrative workers or even layoffs sometimes. Finally, the resistance to change among organizational members also poses an additional challenge to blockchain adoption in businesses. When organizations or any clients adopt blockchain technology, they also usually have to pay a consultant to help them understand how to run the system. They also have to pay the node operators who keep the platform running instead of paying to the central authority which provide the centralized technology that they use. So even though the blockchain technology has removed all the middlemen, it doesn't mean that it comes free of charge, of course. So this is the end of our podcast Remedial program on the evolution of the peer-to-peer network apps and their user friendliness, and then stay tuned to our new videos which will come on our YouTube channel Blockchain Zoo.